Alright, so wanted to do a little video kind of showing you what tools you should have and will need as an iron worker, especially if you're an apprentice. So a lot of these are going to be your day one tools. I kind of have it broke down. This is going to roughly be the structural tools that you'll need, and this is going to be your welding, torching, some rod work stuff, just kind of everything that's not a side or not a part of your structural side. And there's going to be some that I missed, and I didn't want to pull out every single tool that I own because that would take forever. But to kind of go through it here, pretty much, I mean, if you're an iron worker, then Spud, that's your lifeline. That's the bread and butter. From here, I got just a big crescent, got a little crescent in the back. Most of these are Klein, a few Proto in there, but starting it off, I have a 5/8. This one is not a very common one, but I find a lot of times when I'm connecting and we do bent plate, a lot of those little bent plate bolts, the little TCs or just 325s or whatever, a lot of them, for whatever reason, are these smaller ones. So you can see here, 1.125" Proto, just regular standard run-of-the-mill Spud. Then we got one of the most common sizes you'll come across, your 3/4", 1.25" Klein. Then up next, I got two 7/8s here, but I'll show you why I got two of them. So this is just your actual 7/8 right here. I don't know if you can get that in view or not. Yeah, right there. 7/8, 1/16 Klein. And then this other one, I filed it out to 1 inch because you'll find that you'll need that a lot more. I did a pretty good job on the file. You can see right there where the letters are missing, but yeah, I just grabbed an end grinder and widened it up a little bit because I needed that on a job I was on, and an actual 1 inch Spud is pretty damn heavy. You don't really want to be carrying that around with you all day. But so yeah, just to kind of recap that, we got crescent Spud, baby crescent, 5/8, 3/4, 7/8, 1 inch. Pretty much that's damn near all the Spud you'll ever need for any kind of structural job. Right here we got our Slever bar, 32-inch Klein. Don't really recommend this, but I did it anyway. I welded my retainer nut on there, and then got a hold of a paint marker and just made it red. I try to make all my tools red so I know that they are mine. Up next, we got our bull pins. I had a bunch of different sizes, but as you'll find, they like to walk off. But I got a 3/4. That's, if you're doing bolt up right here, this is your money maker. 3/4 Klein bull pin. Got a bunch of them. Then the big boy, the 7/8. There's also some 1 inch ones, but I can't find them right now. But yeah, I mean, if you don't know, these are used for aligning holes. You'll stick that in your hole, and you'll come over here and grab a beater of your choice, and you'll smack that head right there to align your connection. Which brings us on to beaters. Got a few different sizes. When I'm connecting, if it's, if we're working with 3/4, 7/8 bolts, there's a good chance I'm bringing that one with me. I welded a little ring on there so I can clip it to my harness. Normally, if I'm in a JLG or anything like that, working out of a man basket, I'll have one of these two thrown in the basket with me for some more stubborn connections. On the structural side, if you're down on the ground and you're the hook-on man, I'd recommend getting a Klein bridge belt. You're not going to need an actual harness if you're just hooking on, but throw you a scabbard on it so you can throw you your common Spud so you can dress the iron before you send it up to your connectors. Get a pair of gloves. I made these myself. Well, I printed on them myself. Put the Razorback logo on there and the Union logo that I designed. Some more common, kind of getting into the uncommon, a wedge. This is always nice to have on tricky connections that don't quite want to play ball. We call these monkey nuts, and all it is a leverage tool. If you need to get more leverage on it, you would let's see if I can set it up real quick. Say that end is on a bolt or a nut, something that won't play ball. You'll have that there, and you'll slide your slever bar in there, and then as you can see, you'll crank up on it, and that'll give you more leverage to bust the nut free, or pretty much whatever you need it for. But that's kind of dipping into the more uncommon side of things, but you will need them eventually if you're on raising gangs a lot. And then here, this is a lifesaver. Quickie bolt, speed bolt. It's got a couple different names. And the reason it's so long, it's a temporary bolt. Say you're making a connection and your beam is, I don't know, 6-7 inches away from your column. If you don't have a come along, or your come along's already tied up, put this through, tighten it up, and then it'll suck the column or the beam to the column, so you can make the actual correct bolt. I can't tell you how many of these I've went through and just how much these have saved my ass. Between that and a come along, two of the most handy things you can have while you're connecting. Same with this right here. I call it a bridge clamp. The guys up north call them boiler clamps. It's the same thing. This right here, throw it on the flange of a beam, put your come along to it. Now you got another point to grab from. These are nice because it's a bolt hole tie off. This one is for a 3/4 inch hole, but you stab that through, boom, now you got a tie off point right there, so you can get up on the iron better without having to throw over a tie off choker. Obviously tape measure, always going to need a tape measure. If you're an apprentice and you don't have one, get one. Gotta have it. It's your bridge belt we went over. Now these are going to be your layout, welding, stuff of that nature. From the top right here, we got our chipping hammers. I got 2 of them in right here just because you're always going to lose one. Someone's going to steal one. Same thing with your wire brushes. That's your most common El Cheapo, whatever. This is a little nicer one I picked up. I just kind of like it a little bit better. Rod pouch, gotta have it. File, gotta have it. Some channel locks, they're pretty well also a must-have, along with a tape measure, welding hood, hard hat, welding gloves. And that's practically that's going to be your bread and butter for your welding stuff right there. Now down here we're getting into the layout side of things. 2-foot level, torpedo level. I would say both of these are a must-have. This is another regional thing right here. Down south, we call these cowboy clamps. I've heard them called cowboys, Polacks, 11Rs, R11s, Irwins. It doesn't matter, it's all the same, but one of the more handy clamps you can have, I would say one of these is a must. You should get one, you should have one on you. Plumb bob, striker's always a must. You do a lot of torch work being an iron worker. Speed square, definitely a must. Tri-square, definitely a must for any kind of layout situations. Gotta have them. Just regular markers I found. Always have Sharpie on you, paint markers. You're always gonna need them. Chalk box, if you're doing layout, that's a must. Little beater for welding. You're always gonna need a beater. If you're an iron worker, you're gonna need a beater at some point. And then over here, just your, I haven't done a whole lot of rods in my, 8-9 years being an iron worker, but yeah, I mean, if you do rebar, you're gonna need a pair of dikes. Then you're gonna need, I use what little I did do. I got some number 7s, number 9s are common too. Klein, these are actually called Ironworker pliers. And you can see they have cutters on them too. But definitely a must-have, especially if you're on a bar gang, rebar gang, anything like that. Next thing, Get you some boots, Red Wings, Thorogoods. I recommend Thorogoods. They're union made right there in Wisconsin. It's nice, especially if you're on the union side of things. No judgment if you're not. A nose bag, Klein bag, bolt bucket, whatever you want to call it. Definitely a must. Get you one of those. Get you 2 of them. I've kind of lost count of how many I have. Rod buckets, especially if you're a welder or if you're going to be welding, that's a big time must. Probably can get one at the company you're working for though. The next big thing and the last thing that we're going to go over, the harness. The harness is a must, and depending on where you are, I hear a lot of guys say that companies should and will provide these harnesses. When I started out, even non-union, I bought my own harness. I worked non-union 2 years. I've been on the union side for 7 years now. I always bought my own, but this one was provided to me. A company I worked with, they gave me that. It's a Faltech, I believe. Yep, the Faltech Ironwork harness, I think it's called. It's simply one of the best ones out there. I like it better than my old ExoFit that I used to have, because your leg straps, instead of running like your traditional harness like that, these leg straps are more of a horizontal brace on it, so it's a lot more comfortable. Aside from that, your lanyards, pretty much almost every company, unless you're with a real small outfit, will provide you with these. These are called bolt bags. I like to go with the FR ones, because if you're welding, you're not going to burn out a hole through them. And hell, I've had these bags for probably 4 or 5 years now. You can see they're finally starting to die on me. I put some wire up in there to hold it to my kidney belt there. But yeah, I run with 2 bags. I've seen guys run with 3 bags, but pretty much if you're connecting or bolt up, you need, I would say, a minimum of 2 bags. And then off on your hip right here, pull that too. Yeah, also I prefer and love the Pelican hooks. But your scabbards, these are a must. This one right here, that's a bullpen scabbard. Then you got your regular run-of-the-mill 2 Spud scabbard right there. You see a lot of guys run like a 3-ring one or whatever. Doesn't matter as long as you get one. Throw you a 3/4 and a 7/8 in there. Throw you a bullpen. Get you a crescent wrench on there too. And then right here, this is where your slever bar goes. And it's also a must. When you're up there connecting on the steel, you need all your tools to be right there beside you. Goes in like so. I mean, that's pretty much all there is to it. Little recap, we got all of our Spuds, crescent, standard sizes, uncommon size, bullpens, beaters, tie off, quickie bolt, monkey nuts, wedge, then all your layout tools, level, torpedo, all your welding tools up there, your hood, rebar stuff, markers. This is nowhere near all that you will need thoroughly, but just to get you up and going, pretty much these are going to be damn near everything you need. I know a lot of halls will ask their apprentices to they'll print them off a tool list or whatever, and you read through that tool list. I would say probably 90 to 95% of everything I have laid out here would be on that tool list. But yeah, that should cover it. All right, peace.